Alright, so Krzysztof, we're here in Richmond Hill, Ontario at the Honda dealership here, and of course Ontario has now legalized MMA. It's going to go through and going to have an event in Toronto next year. What are your thoughts on that, and are you looking forward to possibly fighting on that card?
Oh, absolutely. Huge news. Huge news for Ontario, huge news for Canada. This was one of the provinces that I know a lot of fighters from this province that have been trying to get this passed for a number of years now. With the UFC being very successful in Montreal, I think Toronto looked at that and Ontario looked at that and see what happened over there, and they finally starting to see how big this sport's getting and how much revenue they can come up with here in Ontario. And they're finally in 2011 we'll get our first show in Ontario. And for me personally, I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully, now that I'm fighting in November, hopefully my next fight will be in March, and hopefully it'll be in Toronto as well.
Right, you mentioned November, taking on Goran Reljic. What are your thoughts on Goran?
Really good striker, Croatian kickboxer, lefty as well as I am, so I got to look out for that crazy head kick, as well as a really good jiu-jitsu guy. Training out of Randy Couture's gym a lot too, working on his wrestling. Most importantly about him is he's 2-0, 0-2 his last two fights. So he's going to be desperate. He has to win this fight, or else most likely he's going to be out of the UFC. And the same thing happened with Stephan Bonnar. He was on a losing streak. Went up against me and put everything on and won that fight. And I want the same thing happen in this fight. So I'm going to be ready for him 100%, and then hopefully finish him off this time.
And based on your style and his style, how do you see the fight playing out stylistically?
It definitely has a possibility to be one of those great fights again, kind of like my fights with Stephan Bonnar. I think I want to stand with him and use my striking. I feel like I'm going to be a little bit bigger, a little stronger than him, and I'm pretty sure he wants to stand up and bang with me as well. So it could possibly have a chance for one of those crazy fights of the nights possible.
Right, you mentioned Stephan Bonnar. You've had some classic fights with him. You have a victory, and Stephan won one as well. Are you looking forward to a third fight with him at some point?
Yes, absolutely. I haven't been able to sleep since the loss at UFC 116. It's been 2 months, and I haven't had a good night's sleep. And I really definitely want the third fight. He told me himself that I hurt him really badly in that fight. Grabbed onto me and held on, and he came back and won that fight. And if the third fight happens, I'm hoping to finish him.
And fighters often say they learn more from losses than victories. What is the biggest thing you picked up from that loss?
When you have somebody hurt, you finish him.
Right.
Don't try to take him down. Don't try to use your jiu-jitsu to beat him that way. If you have him hurt and he's up against that fence, just finish him. That's my game plan was, if I have him hurt, to take him down and beat him up on the ground. And that was the biggest mistake I made. I had him hurt about 2 or 3 times in that fight, and every time I had him hurt, I took him down or tried taking him down, and he recovered and came back, and I wouldn't let that happen ever again.
Great. Thanks a lot, Krzysztof, for your time, and
Thank you very much.
look forward to your next fight.
Absolutely. Thank you.